If you haven't already, press the subscribe button for American New Network's YouTube, and also download American New Network on your app store, any app store. Type in America, type in NU. It's free, and that's the drill. Pause. What's happening?
Let's get into it. What do you think about the Jay allegations that came out?
Well, I can say this. I've been looking at the news, and a couple weeks ago I saw that, that attorney had got sued for extortion, and I saw the lawyers that were on the case, and I saw that Alex Shapiro, or whatever his name is. So I was like, damn, homie might be jammed up or be a part of that, but I didn't think too much of it. I know that in my personal experience that I've gotten that demand letter on like a Christmas Eve, a week after me and Rocky just lost a baby. We were in Hawaii. All of a sudden I get an email saying from the lawyer, Chris Brown, this is not allegedly, this really happened. But I guess I'll say allegedly just in case, allegedly. But I got that letter, and I forgot how many millions it was, and it was a ridiculous allegation. And I was still grieving the loss of an unborn child, but I was definitely angry. Because number one, those allegations were ridiculous. And it was from a person that we had caught, and again, I'm gonna say allegedly because I got sued for saying she stole, but because we caught her allegedly trying to steal. So I had a tape of us catching her, this girl, and it just seemed like it was very retaliatory, and it just was something that was ridiculous. So, I felt like they were trying to extort me. So I called my lawyer, and my lawyer looked at it that way, like, this is ridiculous. So my lawyer at the time, called the feds, and they said they were investigating it or whatever. But at the end of the day, what my lawyer told me was, listen, you'll go through the trial, it's not true, it's ridiculous, and it won't stand up. And then after that, you'll be able to sue for any loss of business that you had, and that it could potentially be a frivolous lawsuit. So, I put that video up, and again, I put that I caught this girl stealing or whatever, allegedly, and that's one of the charges that I had was defamation, because she didn't, in fact, steal. I just had busted her trying to leave with $5,000 worth of equipment, allegedly. I don't want to get sued. But because of that word, I think they hit me for 40 grand just for that. But then I did an interview, because I had a lot to say, and to me, statements are meant to be quick and short. But if I'm being transparent and I'm being truthful, then I have no problem saying my side of the story with no exposure. So I did a radio interview right then and there. For me, full transparency is important. Because of the way I approached it, I think my children already knew what the drill was, like, in the rest of the world. Because I get these questions, like, because people have been texting me, calling me all day, all night. And they like, well, this affects his reputation and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, if he goes through the trial, because when they say like a money grab, it's not a money grab to me. It's more like, if somebody comes to me and says, yo, I'm accusing you of raping a 13-year-old and you want to settle, it's like, that's unsettlable. If it didn't happen, I'm not settling that, because it's like saying you admitted to doing something. That's an offer that you can't settle on some allegation like that. You got to take that to trial, to me. That's how I would look at it. So I don't think this lawyer came with the intention of thinking that, someone like Homeboy was going to settle. And then you have to actually prove it. So what happens is, and this is from my personal experience, first they try to dismiss it, but that never happens. It's just, to me, a procedure so lawyers get paid. And then you have to have discovery, and then there's the deposition. So there's where it could be problematic, because either way, if this case goes forward, there will be a deposition. And that's where you can ask that person anything about anything, and that's where a lot of other things can happen. And you can't lie, because that's the purpose of a deposition, is if you say something that's not true and then they prove it, now your word is discredited. You impeach yourself. So that's the purpose of a deposition, to get you to say something on paper and say something different in the courtroom. And then, okay, and then that's what happens. And, that's where things can get tricky, So for me personally, I've gone through that where I've been accused and then go through a whole trial. And in the trial, it just doesn't stand up. It falls apart. If you're lying, it just comes out. At least that's what my experience has been. But it's definitely traumatizing. Like my girl, in my situation, they accused my girl as well, just because they were trying to get in her pockets, allegedly. So I know that the toll it took on my girl, because she never went through nothing like that before, And then I remember back to, me being accused of something again, and it was on the cover of the New York Post, and me talking to my son, and it was the first time he was like, yo, you ain't got to take me to school today. Like, I remember that conversation, and me saying, yeah, I don't want to bring that attention to you. You don't deserve it. But, bottom line is it wasn't true. So being in the public eye means you have the exposure, because unfortunately, anyone can accuse you of something and you have to go to court. But it does have to stand up. And if you lose $1 because of that false accusation and it becomes frivolous, then you have a potential lawsuit against the person that brought one to you. It's just a patience thing and the tolerance to go through. But it's like, I don't want to say it's part of the game, but unfortunately, it happens a lot, these accusations. So, for me, I can't remember 2000, that MTV. I'm trying to think, what party? This is me now personally, I don't know, I don't remember, so I don't know. I would always think and try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But on a personal level, I can't remember. I don't remember being at that party. I remember that outfit with J-Lo and Puff with the white t-shirts and watching that on TV. I don't remember going to the party, but I could be wrong. But I haven't seen pictures. If I know my outfit, I usually know what I did. I can remember based on my outfit. That gives me sort of context. But I don't see nothing. So I don't know. I was definitely surprised at the long statement, because, I've been to court with homeboy and he doesn't say anything. He never responds. He has his lawyer speak. So I know that it must bother him, because he actually said something, and the length of the statement, And it was funny because Honor Up just came out the night before, and I'm hearing words like honor in the statement. But again, for me, I have nothing to do with it, and I'm trying to look at it objectively like everyone else is. So for me, it's of course, people are going to be in the bots, the stupid ass bots, and people that are just I don't know, but they're going to be, oh, he's talking about him again. But right now, the whole world is talking about him, every day, all day. So then it made me think about being famous and how dangerous that is, because they're really, they're doing the same thing that happened with Puff as far as the way the algorithm is. To me, it's worse. And they're scrutinizing every single thing from the last 20, 30 years. Every lyric, I've been sensed up. They take the statement and put it in AI. I'm seeing Forbes flip. It's just, people could love you one day, but they just love to really hate you so much more. And that was a person that I was like, he can't do no wrong. I know, because, for some reason, every single thing I say is considered smart, except when it comes to him. I'm smart about everything but that. So I'm like, I mean, all right. And I'm not saying, because again, I have no idea what happened there. And I'm hoping everything is where I would prefer that no one got hurt, to be honest. But I didn't think that they would flip on him like that. And it's crazy. And then I'm like, yo, how does TikTok and all these people that, like they say, sound crazy, like Cat Williams is looking like, because not to say things are true, but he said things would be exposed. So he's really looking like a fortune teller. And you know, like Jaguar and all that, like, regardless, it's like, why are the people that are looked at to be imbalanced saying these things and then they're actually happening? Like, how is TikTok, pause. How is TikTok? Like, I'm looking at TikTok and it's like, yo, they've been prepping this moment for the last 6 months. TikTok has been literally saying that this was going to happen, and then it happened. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, are these people that are looked at as imbalanced, are they really like prophets? And when I say prophet, because again, I can't know that what they're saying is true, but what they said was going to happen as far as exposure and people being accused of allegations, it's all been 100. They always said Homeboy was next. A week ago, I did an interview, and and they asked me about, like, what do you think about them saying Jay's next? And I'm like, I don't really care. But of course, as a human being, I'm like, damn, I wonder what's going to happen. And then I was like looking again when I saw the initial extortion case. What was said was that multiple lawsuits were threatened, and it included men and kids and all type of shit. So I'm like, damn. For me, just based on what I'm seeing, it must mean, they lining them up for more lawsuits. At least this is what it looks like based on that paperwork. And I'm like, I really didn't think. It's just crazy how one day everything, it's like, this is like the epitome, it was all good just a week ago. And, I just never seen Homeboy explain himself, ever. So that was different for me. But I'm just like everybody else. I'm just like, this world is changing rapidly. And a lot of the stuff that the people that we thought were crazy are saying are actually happening. And how the hell do they know? Like, how do they know? And also people like, I'm looking now on a business level, I'm like, now, if this isn't true, it should be easy to beat. But until it's beat, pause, I don't see how corporate could support. Or what can he do? And I'm watching, I'm like, now, if, because the difference between him and me, or let's say even him and Kanye, is that he's really tied into corporate. So if corporate shuts his life, like, he really has the ability to be canceled. I don't think it would be as easy for him to go independent and sell product on his own, like Kanye's had to go do. His stuff has always been corporately funded, and those are the people that put him on a pedestal. So I was like, now I'm gonna see how much they really support him. And if they're gonna treat him like they treat every other person when they, have to wear something like that on them, pause. So, I'm wondering what's the NFL gonna do now. If they don't do nothing, then I'm like, yo, he with them. He got people with him. But I would think that the reason why he has to now speak is because all that corporate shit must be in jeopardy. It just has to be based on the algorithm, And then I wonder how objective certain platforms are gonna be, the ones that have been holding him down every single second for the last 30 years, what their perspective is on it. Will they be objective? because I know how I was treated. But what I can say is this. When I went through it, the scrutiny was nothing like this. You know, the way they're breaking it down on TikTok and on social media and how they're talking about it in pop culture, I've never had to sustain that. My kids never had to go through that. So whether it's true or not, again, in this moment, I'd rather be me. Just minding my business, being creative, and, you know, staying out the way of everyone that may be considered a gray area. You know? And then I was thinking, just because I'm a thinking man, I remember when I was selling Reasonable Doubt, the state were the ones that brought up something looks funky over here. And they went to the judge, and the judge said, this is going to auction. Let the person that buys this deal with that. And then the state bought it. And I've never seen anything like that. They did it with credits. No, they didn't get no money for it. They took the L to get that, so that I think maybe, and I'm just a thinking man, so now they have the right to go into all the books. I'm just looking at the timing of it all. You know, I'm just curious because you know, if y'all look at my other interviews, I was like, yo, I don't understand it. I never seen nothing like this. I don't even know why it went to auction. The person that put it to auction didn't get paid. Why would the state want to buy it? They could have left it alone and just let the money go to them. But they wanted to own that, so they have the rights to go and investigate those books. I think. Maybe. It's just the timing of everything. So times are different. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to let that distract me from what I'm doing. I'm on my grind. And I hope everything works out for everybody. I hope nobody got hurt. And I hope, you know, because again, I always feel sorry for the kids. You know? Like when I saw the screening, I felt sorry for that little girl, you know? I did. She's too young to have to deal with that. And it's a lot to be famous, and that's all you know. And to have to like, you know, like to have such an aggressive letter and then to go out and have to pretend that you're that you're unbothered. You know, that unbothered thing, because like when it first happened to Puff, I remember the next day he was out acting unbothered. And look what happened. So for me, like unbothered to me means worried. Because I know if I was wearing that and I had to go through all of this, I would be outside like, yo, bro, this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I know I wouldn't even go out. But I wouldn't be like, I'm going to go out and act like nothing's happening because everyone knows something is. So it was amazing to me that Puff, to the day he went to jail, was in the park acting unbothered. And there's no way that you're not bothered in that scenario, knowing this might be your last day ever in the park. How do you practice this unbothered when your world is crumbling? Because that's something I've never been able to do. When I'm bothered, people know. If I'm outside while something is an issue, I'm going to speak on. I'm not going to ever act like nothing's happening. So I guess my point is, I think the most transparent thing to do, if I'm objective, is I think people want to hear what Homeboy got to say direct. You know? And at this point, if they put him in a deposition, he's going to have to speak to people he don't want to talk to. But I wish everybody the best of luck. And again, this becomes a blow for hip-hop once again. You know? It's like bang, bang, bang. It's so much I told you so, stay out of hip-hop. It's so much, yo, y'all looked up to him, but look now. And that's where it's problematic, is, you know, culturally, because of the consistency of what has been portrayed in popular press, hip-hop's not looking like a great place to have your children. And it's a shame because for the good part of hip-hop, and I'm not saying anybody's bad, but the accusations are. But for those that appreciate and respect the art over here, regardless of what's going on, you know, We making children's programming and content, and we're playing instruments, and we're trying to be healthy, and we're trying to create an environment that is great for nurturing and evolving a child to become a better adult. And I don't want anybody to ever lose faith in hip hop. You know, because there are those in hip hop that were like, yo, I'm not trying to fit in, I'm trying to be out. So we could do it this way over here, and had faith in our skills and our creativity, and would not sacrifice and let just anybody exploit it. And of course, they try to make us look crazy and try to make us look angry. But the thing is like, yo, y'all don't understand a certain fight unless you've been in it. And when somebody tells you about it, you think someone's exaggerating, and they're not even telling you to have. They really, truly just trying to be cool about things. But at the end of the day, it's like, don't give up on hip hop. I also think about how I felt and feel about the lawyers that are, you know, when I'm in a trial, that are getting at me. Pause. And generally speaking, I do hate those lawyers. And the reason why in my case is because I feel like, you know, again, I'll say allegedly because I don't know, I don't want to get sued or nothing, but I generally know that they're representing a lie and that they're only doing it for money. And, you know, it's hard not to resent them for that when you know that the person accusing you of something is only doing it for bread. So I'm not saying that this is that case, but I do understand the aggression toward the lawyer. But, you know, this particular lawyer, he seems like he's with the shits. And it seems like he's very strategic. Like if I'm a thinking man, and this is just me objectively looking at the play, I just feel like he's triggering for certain reactions because he knows what he's up against. And I think he's going to leverage the emotion. So, you know, like, you know, a guy like that from what I see, that lawyer, it seems like he's very successful. You know, I've had lawyers get at me that aren't the most successful. So that would be concerning to me that a lawyer of that caliber with that percentage of winning would even be, you know, thinking that confidently that he would be more, you know, get more success based on these ridiculously wild allegations. So I'm curious to see how all that's going to play out, because also my personal experience with Homeboy's lawyer is he's with the shits completely. Like I know homie's not going to go out swinging no matter what it is. So it's going to be interesting to see those two dynamics getting at each other. You know, and they both seem like they're preparing. So it's also going to be some degree of a chess match. What I'm happy about is that I'm not involved. And that, you know, again, I can always look at my life and be happy about where it's going, and that I chose to put my family as my business and just surround myself with, you know, people that I love that I know also love me. So I guess it'll be interesting. I was surprised because I've never seen Homeboy respond to anything, that he responded, and that he responded in such a lengthy way. Because again, he never responded to anything before. So seeing him actually, like, that's how I know this must really be a problem. You know, and I know how important it is for him to look a certain way to corporate. But again, this is me as like, objectively, I hear everything. I know I'm not supposed to be ever allowed to talk about what's going on with this dude. It's the topic of conversation. It's the elephant in the room. But I'm not going to say that it could ever I'm happy about it. You know, when I was hearing all the things, because to me it seems like they were prepping this dude for a while, like in social media, to cook him, you know, for months. In that moment, I was like, man, that's terrible. So, you know, I really don't want those things to be true. So honestly, if anybody thinks I'm enjoying this or this is like, you know, I told you so moment, it's just more of a like, damn, I'm just glad I'm not around that moment. Whether it's true or not, it ain't nothing I would ever want to be affiliated with. So I thank God for that, you know. But this ain't like, yo, this ain't that. It doesn't pause, it don't feel good to see somebody go through that. And I wonder how people feel when they've seen me go through certain things. It's never been that extreme. But like, I think it would be corny right now if I was happy this shit happened. Or that he's under this kind of scrutiny, even though him and I have not seen eye to eye. I still don't want him or his family or anybody to have to go through no shit like that if it's not true. Now, if it is true, then everyone will get what they deserve. And I think, you know, a court it's just time will reveal. It's just the damage that's done until that time. You know, how much more shit may come out or not come out, you know. But as you see, like, a lot of things start out with a lot of accusations in hip hop, and then, you know, people start coming home. So you don't know what's gonna happen. But know that anybody could be put under a certain kind of scrutiny. No one's untouchable from judgment. So even though the black press isn't talking about it the way they would be talking about me, see, that's what's different. The black press would be going hard on me, but pop wouldn't. You know, but pop press is the ones going super hard on Homeboy, where all the black outlets aren't. So this is a problem, you know.
So, big congratulations on Honor Up on BET. What was that?
Thank you. It was like surreal for me. And it's crazy because, you know, I've been on BET so many times over the years, but never like that. You know, for me to be able, again, and I've said it and I'm gonna keep saying it, for me to do this on my own completely and to see it on BET and what it meant, you know, to my crew, the people I actually grew up with, because this movie was about like core memories that affected me to make me the man I am today as it relates to why I'm on this honor thing so heavy. And the people that kind of instilled those values, pause in me. And, you know, what we did was immediately, because the deal happened kind of quick. And for me, marketing is important, or at least celebrating all victories is important, and the world actually celebrating with us. So we set up like a quick little tour, and having the ability, and let's make this the lesson of the day. You know, just because your dreams come true and you know, a big corporation lets you put your work on their platform, it doesn't mean that it's over. It means it's only just begun. So immediately, once I knew the deal was happening, and knowing that if this was well received, that we're going right into the television series regardless, I wanted to make sure that the television series was written. So Nicolette and I, every night for like a week and a half, just wrote. We worked with, I won't say ChatGPT worked or wrote it at all. It organized it for us. And with ChatGPT and all of these AI tools, you can get storyboards and everything. It's just no excuse. So we wrote 7 episodes, about 140 pages, storyboards, everything, right? So I had to kick into that to be prepared for the future. Always prepare for the future. Always prepare for the best and always prepare for the worst. One or two things can happen, the best or the worst. be prepared for both. And if the worst happens, you have to be able to turn an L into a W quickly. So the next thing we did was we set up a tour. And we had screenings, one in Virginia, so a screening and a Q&A. Big shout out to Alexis from Virginia, VA. She made it happen. And then we bounced over. And think about it, right? So we flew in just in time for the show. There was some delays. Went to the show, and the only flight to get to Miami the next day was at 6 a.m. And I be drinking and shit. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do when I'm social. So we drunk, doing what we do. We get like 1 or 2 hours of a nap, jump back on the plane, and then BET met us, and we did an interview with BET Now, which was great. And the day before that, Daniel and Smoke DZA and Murder Mook did an interview in New York. So they did interviews. Blackface was there and all that. And I was really happy that my crew, the people that believed in me, the people that I knew when I was 15, were able to experience being at Paramount and being interviewed like real celebrities for a movie that was going to be on BET. The fact that they got to get that off their bucket list, it made me so happy to see Daniel, and he was full Daniel, and the way they carried it, they were on time. They gave the interviews. Everyone was happy, So I did that interview, and again, first actually got my hotel room, took a shower, changed, then went and did the interview, went and got something to eat, then went and took a nap, and then went to an activation. My man Jay, not the Jay you're thinking, a different Jay through Belly Ventures, pause. And he had one aspect that was like an entrepreneurial conference and other entrepreneurs talk, and the other part of it was a screening of Honor Up, and it was Art Basel, and there was art, and I loved the vibe. And from there, the Sprinter came, and we went right back home. And I hadn't seen my son in a couple of days, and he had 2 Christmas parties at the same time. So I got to go get some sleep. We were turned up for a minute, so we didn't go right to sleep. But as soon as we wake up, back to parties, and the last party had liquor. So of course, we were drinking mimosas, and now I'm exhausted. But also that night we come back. When we came back on that Saturday, the actual show came on BET. I did an interview with Big Face Gary, and then I did a watch party. So we stood up the whole time, 4 hours live. And I'm saying this in this lesson to say, this is what you have to do if you decide to be a professional. Once you get the deal, you have to work harder, a lot harder, because you're there, but you want to stay there. You want to be there in the future. You want to make sure that everyone respects the fact that you are a great partner, that you're going to do your part. I hate giving people opportunities and they don't do anything with it. And then during the party, or rather we did a watch party with Murder Mook because he was in Detroit. So he went to Detroit, and we got with Stewie, who's in the Prince of Detroit through Tommy Duncan. So we did a watch party in Detroit, and then there was a watch party and a casting in Harlem. And Big Face Gary ended up going there by accident and getting cut up by them and all that, but that was what I call motion. And I can't do it alone. Having a crew in different places, in different cities, means you can activate for the right reasons. And because you've, been a certain kind of way with people, they're going to be a certain kind of way with you. So within a week, we were able to put together a tour, route it, and execute it. Now, I was exhausted, and I'm just recovering right now. but to me, it was worth it. And again, for those that are feeling sorry for me or saying that I have no other hustle or that it breaks your heart, here's something else that might break your heart again. January 11th, Prince of Detroit, produced and directed by me, Tommy Duncan, put it out in theaters, was in all kind of festivals, won like 5 festivals, put it on my own streaming service. And now, a month after Honor Up was out on BET, now another movie's coming out. And this is, what y'all feeling sorry for. So, keep feeling sorry for me, because I guess it's inspiring things to realize themselves that you're not conscious of. Pause. Motion my way. The indie way, the free way. So I'm excited about that. And what's really exciting is this particular movie is not about anything street. It's about black lineage, about, government contracts. It's about nepotism. It's showcasing us doing things that they never show us doing, like winning, like generational wealth, like a black man selling companies that didn't do it illegally, that works with the government, showcasing all the opportunities out there for us as a culture within the government. Because we don't know about government contracts and how American wealth is built. But look at Elon Musk. Look how many government contracts he got. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look how many government contracts he has. But you don't ever really see someone black and them saying, oh, look at these government contracts. We don't even know what's carved out for us within the government culturally. There's a lot. So they make it available, but they don't make the knowledge available so that we could capitalize. They don't teach us how to capitalize off of it. So through the entertainment, this is what I'm doing. So I gave you my Honor Up, my core, the movie that shows you where I'm from, the core memories of who I am today and why. And now the Prince of Detroit is where I am today. Being able to do movies without guns. Being able to teach the culture without having to show the dysfunction of our culture. Showcasing that a black family can do it a different way other than being entertainment or being an athlete and still remain, like real hood, street, normal. Like when you meet Tommy Duncan, you're gonna see like, yo, but he just sold a company, not to talk his business, but it's in the movie, for $120 million. But his stepfather and his mother sold companies within in healthcare and bought hospitals. Like who knows how to buy a hospital? So that's what this movie's about. And of course, it'll turn into a television series. All independent. We shot it ourselves. And I just feel like this is the best way for us to tell the stories that will evolve us. And I'm happy to be the one to fight to do it and to do it publicly. So y'all can see the tough times, because there are going to be tough times. It's part of the game. You're going to play football, you're getting tackled. You box, you're going to get punched. That's what being an entrepreneur is. That's what having a dream is. It's fighting and being tested every single day. Fighting for your independence and what you believe in and your dream, and being tested. Will you cheat to get there? Will you deal with people that you don't morally respect to get there? Will you do things that are morally wrong that you know are morally wrong? Will you look the other way to get there? And when you do that, you feel like you won for a little while, even though you're not happy. But at some point, things reveal themselves. You can't just cheat and think you're always going to get away with it. Now, the person you cheated might not be the person that gets that direct revenge on you, but God gets you. So there's been a lot of times that people have done some foul shit to me, and I don't have to do anything. Let me say pause. I don't have to do anything because they've done so much foul shit to other people that they deal with it. So that's why you could just walk away. So there's been so many blocks when I used to be in the street that me and maybe friends have had, and I go, we not getting along, keep the block. I'll go start another one. As long as I know how to flip, then I never have to be a slave to anything or anybody. I could always do things on my own. It just means starting from scratch. But if you're looking at like what we've been talking about, if you've been rocking with me, you see what I've been saying. I'm developing different verticals. So, there's America New. That's the television network, the streaming service. You have to have it. And, I was watching some clips. I saw 50 was on with Cam. And that's another thing. He's relentless. He's not letting off homeboy. He's just relentless. And he made it clear. What I saw was he said, yo, I guess Cam asked him why he was getting that puff. He was like, because he had the liquor and I got the liquor. I got at him. And I guess, he doesn't want to work with, he wants to take the block. So now it made sense to me why he was trying to get at me, because he was trying to be in the space of fast channels and streaming services, and I'm the only one there. And I was like, damn, that's kind of dope. I always bring everything back to me when I hear things, but I'm like, oh, that's why he was getting that. But I'm like, damn, he getting that homeboy kind of hard, pause. So I'm like, he must want his spot too. He gave his reason and he gave his business model. In rap, and I ain't gonna talk about it too much, but I'm just saying. So I understood that. And, again, he still be making his little jokes and shit. If something's funny, I'm gonna cut him up real fast. But I appreciate him still. And, good luck with his streaming service. I dropped mine and then I went and said, you know what? I'm going to go get some of your money. I'm going to get on television, because I need the playing field to be fair. So now that I have my content on real linear television, the playing field can be at least a little bit more level, And now, God forbid, I start generating the same income, not that you making, but that the boss makes. Then hell yeah, it's on. And again, I know how much people hate the people that I've helped the most. I don't know why they don't want to see me get to a certain place a certain way, what the resentment is, if it's a human trait, because I try not to take anything personal. But if you look, you'll see who helped, who promoted, who didn't. I hate the questions when people call me like, why didn't this one promote? Why didn't this one say nothing? And it's like almost embarrassing. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I really don't. And I said it last week, and it was cool because Mace called me and was like, yo, how can I help? I don't like that shit. I feel they do that same type of shit to me niggas don't support. And I appreciated that call, and I wasn't expecting it from Mace. And I want to give him a shout out for even acknowledging that I'm not crazy for saying what I say. And understanding that it's just a human trait that the people closest to you hate you the most. They love you the most, but they hate you the most. The people that you do the most for are the ones that are the most entitled. I got friends sometimes that I've helped for years that have never even volunteered to help and still have the nerve to say, yo, I'm going to charge you for something or something like that. And I'd be like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But at the end of the day, I was really happy about the way Honor Up looked on television, how happy it made the people around me, and the proof of concept that you can make something years, because it's a long grind when you get into content, like movies and shit like that. You don't get your money back overnight. It gives you residual income forever, but it takes a minute to get your money back. And that's where a lot of people can't sustain that loss for so long. And that's why, you have timing issues, but you got to fight through it. It's part of the game. But seeing things come to fruition, having a plan years ago and seeing it realize itself, the fact that it came out on my daughter's birthday, and it was crazy because that day on Sunday, I watched it, it came back on again, and then I fell asleep because I was sick. I was sleeping the whole day and I woke up to the texts and the calls. It was like the whole world changed when I woke up, you know? And back to homeboys, like, for all those people that are always like, yo, you speak about the cat all day. And I'm like, no, I don't. I talk about my situation, but I know that you're a bot. But now everybody's talking about this cat. Every day, all day, it's in the algorithm. And the same people that's talking about, yo, you speak about the cat all day are the ones that talk the most. But I'm always put to some, I'm not allowed, you know, but nobody tells me what to do or how to do it. You know, it's hard to tell somebody to walk in my shoes unless you've been in them. But either way, and then I was happy to be able to wear this new Anunnaki CEO collaboration with Athletics. So last week I gave you the shorts, but now today I'm showing you the shorts with the jacket. And we're still figuring out the pre-order. Hope they figured it all out. And we're going to work out everything. There's a lot going on. So that's the next vertical, is the fashion and then the music. I got a project with Freeway, the Freeway, you know, rock and roll. So that's after that. So don't act surprised. So look at the verticals. I want you to pay attention. Forget all the distractions. So we got the streaming service going. We got movies on linear television, BET. We're coming out with the music with Freeway. I consider the Rockefeller State Property Project on Blue Rock. And then we have the clothing, CEO. And I was just watching, and I'm very happy with it, with Applefish with Raquel. We turned Dusko Goes to Space into a movie and a soundtrack. And, you know, we've been editing all the videos. Josh has been editing, he shot them. And we're up to like 4 or 5. And it's really coming together nicely. I'm gonna probably give you a little preview or something on this. But so the children's vertical is being stimulated the right way as well with Applefish and Dusko Goes to. So, you know, that's about 3 or 4 or 5 verticals at one time from an independent that people say has no motion, that's not hustling, that, you know, is just sitting around in the shelter doing nothing. But again, that's for the bots. That's for them bot ass niggas. Don't be a bot, you know, because you sound stupid. And when you stand 10 toes down, supporting and worshiping somebody when things go bad, then you look stupid. So I would be selective about who you decide to worship, especially if you're a man. You know? Now, what's the dude's name? Hey, Rock, what's the dude's name that you keep talking about, the shooter? Luigi. So, this Luigi thing. Now, it's like a movie to me, and everybody's talking about it. He puts the names on the bullets, and he puts his face down. It seems like that could have been intentional because he couldn't have been that dumb. And then he gets busted and all the conspiracy theories, and the girls are going crazy. And dudes, I heard, pause, based on my girls saying all this. But for me, I'm thinking like I'm seeing the lawyer saying, yo, I don't see no evidence. And it looked like he could have been a ploy, a decoy. But I don't know. You know, things are so interesting right now. Trump's going to be the president of, I mean, everything that's happening in this moment is like unprecedented stuff that you see on movies. Like, you know, 20 or 30 years ago, they'd be like, yo, in 20 or 30 years, this dude would be president the second time after all these things that's happened. The people that have been being celebrated for the last 30 years are getting cooked, you know, and you know, there's robots and flying cars and all of this. You would have been like, yo, that's some George Jetson shit. We're actually in it. These are very interesting times. And I'm curious to see who's prepared for the future. And it also seems like this year, honor is going to really showcase and win. You know, the thing about having honor is you don't have honor until you're tested, like I say. You're not a general until you fought a war. You can't say you have faith until you've had time to believe in something that looks like it's failing, and then it wins because you believed in it. Now you can say you have faith. You can't say you're loyal unless, like, I've had people that work with me and be like, years ago, I've been loyal, all this loyal. Like, no, I've been paying you. Loyal is when you work when I don't pay, when I can't afford it. You can't say you're loyal because you came to work and, you know, what we agreed to do, you did. You just did your job. But in order to be loyal, you know, something has to happen for you to prove that you're loyal about. Can't say you loyal unless you've been tested. Can't say you tough unless you fought. A lot of people in their heart really think that they'll react a certain way, and then when shit happens, the whole rehearsal just goes out the window. You just run. I've seen it happen.
You said Prince of Detroit will premiere January 11th on BET. How did that story come about where you got on to create the movie?
So I had another streaming service, Dame Dash Studios, which was a completely different business model, different business. But, you know, I was starting to get ads. You need a sales team. So I was talking to sales. I forgot my man's name. I wish I knew it. I got to call him. But he was one of the salespeople. He introduced me to Tommy Duncan, who wanted to run an ad. He had this app that he was pushing at the time. I think him and Rick Ross owned it together. And he wanted to do a commercial. So he paid for the commercial, never gave me the commercial. But, you know, he started to come around and we were talking and he was saying he wanted to do a TV show. And he showed me the script and I didn't even really look at the script. I was like, I could shoot this. You know, I already knew I could shoot it. And, you know, that's how we got into business. So we shot his life story and it revolves around his mother. And I like the fact that it was about business. It was something different for me. It was a dramedy. And, you know, he's one of those guys, he's an entrepreneur. So some people say they want to do shit, and then when it's time to do it, don't. He's one of those cats in that moment, if he's inspired and he believes in it and he got the bread, we doing it. So, and through that, I got to study him, study Detroit, and study government contracts. So it's great when you do a movie that teaches you something that affects you for your life moving forward. The movies that I learned from are the movies I know everyone else will learn from. So I felt like this was a good way to showcase the evolved version of Dame Dash, the Dusko Poppington of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the fact that I could tell a story other than my own or something that I saw or something that is violent or very street. Even though I've done comedies, you know, I discovered Kevin Hart. You know, I got a call the other day from my man Kurt. He was like, yo, Dame, you seen this new TV show Kev got? And I said, nah. It's like, this is on Fuse and he had all these people on there. He told his story. He didn't say one word about you putting them on and da-da-da-da-da. Tiffany Haddish said something. And I was like, yeah, Tiffany's my girl. I love Tiffany Haddish, man. She holds people, she's solid to me. But again, I don't know why. When people call me, like, what do I say? I don't know why Kev wouldn't want to bring me up unless his friends don't let him, you know? I don't know why those guys are so resentful toward me that they feel the need not to acknowledge the things I'm doing or what I were in their history. I guess it makes me look too cool, but I don't know what people be mad at me for. Like, if you snap and I snap and I'm funny and you can't be mad. And I can't think that people are that petty, so it's just, I just don't get it. I just think at times people are just, you know, to go from point A to point B, there's this position where if you want to hang out with us, you can't fuck with him at all. And I think that must be what it is. But no, you know, love Kevin and all that. Good luck to him. But it wasn't me that saw it. I didn't see it. But, you know, people called me and I said, I guess, he just called me. I was on the phone with Kurt before I got on. And he was just like, man, I don't like this shit, man. Like, don't worry about that shit, Kurt. But I guess if I said something, I mean, it must mean I'm worried about it. I'm not worried about it, but it does bother me a little. I'm just I don't like that I'm used to it, you know? So, again, this is Bosses Take Losses. You know, I think it's important to be transparent about the ups, the downs, you know, everything being a boss, what it comes with, pause. And it also comes with being around people that make history, whether it's good or bad, sometimes being associated with it just because you was in the room, you know, and things do affect you because, you know, you're watching TV and everybody you see on the screen, you know, you've had personal experience with, so it's kind of different. And it's because you've worked with these people, not like hung out with them, but really did business. And you're like, damn, a lot of reflecting. But, and also when you pivot, you know, what that takes, you see rebuilding a brand takes a lot of faith and fight. and being consistent. Me saying that I'm going to do a show that teaches y'all, as I'm going through it, I'm showcasing it, I'm being transparent, I show you the L's, the W's, everything. So that you don't have to go through the same things that I went through, that you could get where you got to go quicker. And, and if in your heart you feel like you got to hate, you got to look in the mirror and wonder why you're so worried about another man as opposed to worrying about yourself. You got to wonder why you don't have dreams and you're mad at other people because they're fighting for theirs. And hopefully after you look at this content, you will reapproach your life. You'll look at things different, and that hate will leave your heart because now you're dreaming and you have passion for something, and now you have a purpose, and now you're happy. Don't worry about that man. That man is all right. Worry about yourself. Good luck to everybody. Don't get distracted. Focus on your dreams. And watch Prince of Detroit, January 11th on BET, and download America New. I have the 100 announcement no matter what in a day or two. Holla. Oh yeah, also, let me get y'all to see this, what this look like that. I got the planets, you know what I mean? Anunnaki, the alien. And I don't want to hear all that. It's not a religious thing, B. It's just Anunnakis. It was a story, don't go too hard with it. Just enjoy it. Black aliens, not from this world. Let's get it. Sneakers 2 coming soon. I got to get my CEOs together. Later.